Benny boy! Come on, Benny! All right, Benny!
We'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which the games are being played today. A reminder that we support Northern New South Wales Football's zero tolerance policy of officials and players and are dedicated to a safe and enjoyable environment for all. We therefore ask that everyone shows respect towards officials and players, as the game would not be possible without them. A big shout out to our ongoing partners who continue to support the entire club year in, year out. East Maitland Bowling Club, Burton's Automotive and the Mutual have been supporting us for years. Reese and the team at Thompson Clark, George Tavern, Frano's Construction and Kelly Partners. We're very grateful for their support of all these companies and we really appreciate their ongoing partnership. Thank you. Maitland FC today, jersey number 1, Taylor Pate, number 5, Luke Corcoran, number 7, Daniel McFarlane, number 8, Lachlan Roos, number 9, Connor Butchard, number 10, James Thompson, number 11, Benjamin Tao O'Toole, number 14, Braden Crowley, number 18, Richard Roos, 19, Regan Mundy, number 20, Matthew Smale. The Charlestown Azzurri, number 1, Samuel Esquin, number 4, Matthew Hoole, number 6, Reese Haber-Dimitrios, 7, Errol Trainer, number 8, Jackson Frendo, number 11, Matthew Carl, number 14, Kieran Hayes, number 21, Jordan Jackson, number 22, Cooper Impani, number 23, Alan Reed.
Good afternoon and welcome to Cook Square Park Match of the Round in the NPL Men's here in Northern New South Wales. Round 10 action as Maitland play host to Charlestown Azzurri. Chris McPherson bringing you all of the action alongside me. Western head coach Damien Zane. Feels a little bit weird saying that, Zane. It's the first time we've been together since that became an official thing.
Yeah, didn't expect it and booked myself in for the commentary, but things change quick in football.
They certainly do. Speaking of changing quickly, Charlestown have had a change at the helm in the lead up to this game, and James Pascoe steps down, Josh Rufo steps in.
Unfortunately for Jimmy, it's unfortunate reasons stepping down, and wish him all the best and his family. Josh will be good. He's been down at Bell Swans with Mick Stafford doing a good job, and he's got strong ties to the club, so probably a good fit for them.
Yeah, it will certainly be interesting to see. They always talk about that new manager bounce, whether it will be present here at Cook Square Park this afternoon. It's 5th place, 6. There's a little bit of a gap between the top 5 and 6 at the moment. Maitland sitting in 5th, Azzurri in 6th, but that could quickly change if Azzurri take maximum points here today. Let's have a look at how the two teams do line up as we await them entering Cook Square Park here. And we'll start with Charlestown. They're starting 11. In goals is number 1, Sam Esquilant. Number 4, Matt Hoole. 6 is Reese Pappas. 7 for El Trainer. 8, Jackson Frendo. 11 is Matt Cale. 14, Kieran Hayes. 21, Jordan Jackson. 22, Cooper Vimpani. 23, Caleb Reed. And 30, starting at the front of their attack, is Chang Hee Lee. Their substitutes will come from Pat Ferrara, Harry Frendo, Jared Sutherland, Nick Martinelli, June Hahn, Zach Major and Archie Parks. And as we said, they are coached by Josh Rufo. For Maitland, in goals will be number 1, Taylor Pate. 5 is Luke Corcoran. 7, Daniel McFarlane. He will start up front. 8, Lockie Roos. 9, Connor Butcher. 10, James Thompson. 11, Tay Power O'Toole. 14 is Braden Crowley. 18, Richard Ruiz. 19, Regan Lundy. And 20, Matt Smale. Their substitutes, Tyler Peel, Joe Melmoth, Angus Muddle, Theo Law, Ben Grant, Isaac Collins and Jaden Ritchie, and they're coached by Adam Hughes. I talked about McFarlane and Crowley there starting up front. We've seen for a number of seasons now what Braden Crowley can do. He sits up in those top couple in the Golden Boot every year. Adamstown absolutely felt his wrath a couple of weeks ago when he bagged 5. He is a danger man for Charlestown to contain today.
Yeah. He's done it consistently for a long time, and I'd say one of the keys to Charlestown doing well is nullifying him. I happened to watch Maitland play last week, and they're playing some really good football. If they're able to get him chances, and then it could be a long afternoon for Azzurri. But we lost to Charlestown, and they can be a really good team on their day. They've got a team full of dangerous players, and Matty Cahill's one that stands out, and got some experienced defenders, so there's no reason they can't come here today and win this game.
Well, the key for Charlestown is certainly going to be starting well. If they've conceded a goal in the first half this year, they've not gone on to win the game. So if they can get out of the blocks, get the first blow, as is often the case, that's going to go a long way towards determining momentum. Both these sides are going to have a short turnaround into cup football midweek. Maitland play Tuesday up against Valentine. Charlestown come up against West Wallsend on Wednesday. So it's a pretty jam-packed schedule for them. So we'll see how they shape. As we see the new head coach there making his way across, getting ready for the first match. How do you think the nerves will be for Josh?
Oh, I think we'll be looking forward to it. You just brought up the cup, and this is football. You know, if Charlestown come out and win today, and then they win in the cup, all of a sudden you have a good week and you're back in form, aren't you? And yeah, I think he'll be pretty happy that cup game coming up. I think he's got Maitland and Magic first up, so it's a pretty it's a baptism of fire, really. But I'm sure he'll look forward to that challenge.
Yeah, you touched about that run. I mean, Lambton's a great example of that. They had the catch-up game. They obviously got a win last week as well. All of a sudden, they've grabbed 6 points. They were sitting in the cellar. Now they're nipping at the heels of Charlestown in 6. It's one, talks to the fact that form can turn very quickly in this competition. 2, it also talks to how congested some of the patches of the competition are.
Yeah, it looked like there was going to be a bit of a divide there, a week or 2 ago, and change of results, and a few of the teams outside the 5 win, and it's back tight again.
You touched on it before. Obviously, Josh has come out of Bell Swans. There's been some winning culture there to start the season. They've been probably one of the big surprise packets for a lot of people in terms of how they've hit the ground running. And we talked about Braden Crowley before, but their German striker is absolutely scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, he's very dangerous. And Mick's done a fantastic job down there. And they're the real deal. I know when we won down there, we played really well. And I thought it was a fantastic win. I think a few people sort of thought, beat Bell Swans, but I don't think they've lost since then. So
I think it's in 3rd on the ladder at the moment, right behind yourselves and Magic. And it's we're nearly at the midpoint of the season, so it's not just a flash in the pan at this point. So we'll see how that plays out. It's still a long way to go in the season, but after next week, we're at the midpoint. It's hard to believe it's raced past. It feels like only yesterday we're getting underway, and probably feels like only yesterday sometimes for you that you step back into the coaching role. Yeah,
it's been pretty full on trying to cram before games, but the players up at Western have been very good, and we had a really good cup win midweek, so they've been fantastic. It's been a tough situation, but the coach coming in round 2, and they've responded really well.
Undoubtedly the club up there after their run to the round of 32 last year would like to be emulating that again in terms of the fans and yourself and the players as well.
Yeah, when you play those big games, you get a taste for it, and you want more. And I know through experience at Edgeworth, you didn't have to motivate the players. They wanted that main draw and the bigger games against A-League or NPL, Victoria, New South Wales opposition, or a trip.
A trip, yeah. There's always the much vaunted one, because it all kicks off in about July to get up to Darwin for the NT side to get out of the cold. I think Edgeworth had that a couple of years ago from memory, not that far ago. So
yeah, Northern Territory and Darwin, and also Cairns. That was a nice one too, and we won both games. So nice little defrost in the middle of our northern New South Wales winter. So
We're all set here. Maitland are going to go from right to left of your screen, and we'll be that man, Braden Crowley, their captain, to get us underway. Charlestown, what can they conjure here? As I said, if they can come out of the blocks well. They've got their visa striker up front for them in Chang-Hee Lee. Alongside him, the strike force of Jackson Friendo, that man that you talked about before, Zany, in Matt Cahill.
Yeah, he's been very good in the early part of the year. Looked really sharp.
There's another man who's looked very busy since he's joined Maitland, is Richard Ruiz, getting an early touch. And we'll get back through Smale. Maitland will frequently just sit in this, I guess, passing rhythm across their back four until something opens up. They're happy to maintain possession. It's been the way they've played for the last couple of seasons. As you can hear the wind just picking up here on the top of one of the highest points in East Maitland here at Cook Square Park, as Crowley drops back. It's a touch. Ruiz back to Crowley, pressing across. Charlestown will get a throw here. Cool, and take the throw. Trying to find an open runner. Back infield, taken away though. Bruce to Ruiz. And they switch it wide to the right. Just playing around here, working out where opportunities are. A little nudge in the back there, Reece Pappas, playing that holding midfield role. He'll be happy to play nice and physical. That's the role he likes to sit into there, Zany.
Yeah, look, I think the way Maitland changed the point there before was really nice, and that's what they'll be looking to do, and shift the block that Charlestown's sitting in. And any ball inside that block, I'd say there'll be a bit of pressure from all the players in there.
Here's Maitland now trying to feed it through in front of an advancing runner in Power O'Toole. But Escalante straight out to it.
Yeah, and he's another danger man that isn't talked about as much, is Damien Farland. Daniel, sorry. And he was down at the Central Coast when I was at the Jets Youth. He played for Central Coast United, and fantastic player. When he's on, he's almost unstoppable.
He's long serving there at Central Coast United, and it was a big move when he came up here last year and decided, probably a little later than some when they try and chance their hand at the NPL level. But he certainly slotted in really well last year and was a key fixture. When they can get him and Crowley clicking together, it's a dangerous little 1-2, because you can't really double team Crowley and leave McFarlane free. We see a little bit of contact there, but the referee says play on. Here they come now. Ruiz with a little bit of space to Crowley. You're touching on it before with Maitland changed the point of attack. They look dangerous when Braden Crowley starts dropping back in and then pushing forward, because it starts to really keep the defenders honest in that block, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think early on he does it to get himself into the game and get a touch of it. Sometimes when you play up front and game starts, you find it hard to get a touch. So, I've noticed it's something he does to get himself into the game.
He's playing the ball forward and he's turned over there. A couple of Charlestown defenders arrive and press.
Yeah, if they're going to play inside, they're going to have to be very quick with their actions, because, like I said, if they play inside that block, I'd say Charlestown's going to collapse on them and try and get a turnover.
Error there at the back from Pate, but pushed wide. Cahill, what an opportunity early.
Yeah, probably should have scored. That's what they'll be looking to do, I think, is just stay compact, and they've got the players to counter. Out wide they've got Trainer and Vimpani, who have been in the Jets program before, and they've got speed, and so they've got a pretty decent lineup for counter-attacking. So Maitland's going to have to be careful, probably conceding more goals than they'd like to.
It's certainly it appears, looking at their results, that they've sort of approached things this year under Adam Hughes with we'll score enough to get past what we let in, which works okay until it starts to run out of fortune.
Yeah. Look, I just think it's a work in progress, and yeah.
Well, they're sitting inside the top 5 at the moment, as we said, in the lead-up. A win today could really start to put a bit of pressure on a side like Charlestown, depending on some other results as well. Smale playing it in. Ruiz recycling it to Roos. It's a bit of a mouthful. Roos just pushing it forward early, looking for the ball over the top for Crowley, but defenders managed to intervene. Ball dropped down here for Trainer. Space closed off in front of him. He tries to take on Power O'Toole and it's just blocked over the sideline.
Yeah, they're probably 2 big games this afternoon. If the teams in the 5, Maitland and Bellswans win, it probably opens the comp up again. Vice versa, if the Jaffers and Charlestown are able to get a win, it just compresses it that much more.
Here's Cale on a run, Lee calling for it. He floats it over the top. That is a nice ball, creating opportunity here, well defended by Butchard. He manages to keep it just inside the byline and will take on the defender and play it out.
They're looking pretty dangerous, Azzurri, when they
Lee pressing hard there.
Yeah.
They forced a mistake earlier from the keeper, so I thought they'd try again. Cale with a nice turn. Touch just a little heavy for him, though. And away comes Power O'Toole. As you say, some promising if you're Charlestown, but probably a little concerning if you're Maitland. Lead-up play, it's just that last touch, probably the last couple of times.
Yeah, I think they'd be really happy with the start. They probably just lacked the goal, which they were desperately close to. Maitland just trying to keep possession now and take control of the game, and as I say that, they knock it long to nowhere.
Reed's the man that picks it up, and he's got space in front of him, so he plays it down the line. Opportunity here. They get to level with the 18-yard box. Can they find the pass? Floated into the box over the top for Trainer. Beats everyone but Trainer. He pulls it up at the extremity of the 18-yard box and then just tracks back. He's got Hall with him if he wants to use him. He feeds it in instead. Little 1-2. Nicely played for Trainer here. Dangerously into the box, and we'll have a corner. Promising. Nothing really presenting, and they just work the short balls and earn the corner.
Yeah, the front 4 players are really dangerous, and they've all started the game really well for Charlestown. So I think when you're dominating like this up here at Maitland, you know it's going to turn at some stage, so you need to take your chances.
Plenty of numbers in the box for Azzurri. Some reasonably tall targets as Hall floats it in with some backspin on it, just pulling up. Headed away though by Smale. That'll be another corner on the other side. One man in the middle of that group of players is Jordan Jackson, who knows his venue quite well. I was having a chat with him on the way in today, and he's mentioning it's a little bit weird coming here knowing you're going into the away sheds after having spent time here in the home sheds. It's always a little bit of fun coming up against old sides, Zany.
Yeah, no, that probably happens to him a few times, to be honest. I had him at Edgy, and he's a really good centre-back. I also had him at Magic.
He's been at more clubs than you, Zane, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
He's always, in my time involved in Northern New South Wales, he's always been a very engaging guy, happy to have a chat and talk football, which is good.
Great person. Good footballer, great person.
Trainer now on the ball here. Another opportunity for Charlestown. Power O'Toole with the defensive block. Feeds it inside. Roos. Back. That press continuing from Azzurri here. And break around it.
Yeah, they're sort of sitting off in a block, but there's those moments that they're willing to press in certain areas, and they actually are doing it quite well. And Maitland played out well then, but they've already got a few little rewards already. Charlestown, a few turnovers.
Well, he certainly looks very enthusiastic executing the press.
And there's that ball in that block, yeah, and they've got the turnover, and this is where they'll try and either go quick or preferably, I'd say, from Josh, or they'll try and lock it in here and keep the ball and build the pressure, and hopefully that leads to a breakthrough for them.
Well, we're going to throw deep in attacking territory here. If it were 12 months ago, it would have been a 99.9% chance that Charlestown would just loft this into the box from the throw. They've got a couple of options presenting shorter though here. They will go the short throw. Pools there. Power O'Toole slides in, pushes it across, and it'll be a third corner in quick succession for the Azzurri.
It's a really bright start. The ball hasn't been down the other end, has it? It's like I said, I think the longer this goes, they'll want their reward here for the good start.
Let's address it again from the right boot. Floats it in with that backspin out to the back post. Little juggle there, but taken in the end by Pate. Did well to read that as it sort of drifted in the wind with that backspin again. Hard to judge, but does control it and takes hold. It's one of those pieces, isn't it, Zane? You talk about, they've created a lot of opportunities here, but football can be a cruel game. It can be 90% possession and all of a sudden one against the break of play and you're trailing 1-0. So
yep.
Need to take those chances.
It's actually a bit similar to last week there in Maitland's start against Magic. They sort of had the ball a lot and then a few turnovers, and Magic had chances, but they back themselves with the ball, and eventually it turns. The more you keep that ball, the probably more you're going to control the match. So they'll back the way they play and hopefully cut out the turnovers.
Well, they did have to fight back last week from that early goal, and then it looked for a good period like they were going to claim the 3 points before that late equaliser in stoppage time. Saw them share the spoils. You would have been watching that, Zane, hoping that they could have taken the maximum because it would have just given you a little more breathing room.
No, I was just watching because we played Magic in the Cup, and some of the things they actually did, I actually used for our game on Wednesday. Just a few little areas that I showed the boys where I felt there was a bit of a weakness that Maitland sort of showed up, and at times, sometimes they created a weakness and didn't execute, but they were really good, especially the second half. They really controlled it.
I'll be hoping to take control of this one from here as well and make sure they get maximum points. Only one loss in their last 5 as they push forward here. Now opportunity for McFarlane. Gets past one. Appeals for a penalty from the Maitland bench, but play on, says the referee. A strike taken from range and it was blocked. I don't even know whether it was intentionally in the end, but down on his haunches. That Kieran Hayes, I think. He's worn that right in the midriff.
Yeah, I thought that was close.
Now Lee plays across. Trainer. Look for the early ball. Power O'Toole tracking back. Did well to interrupt the pass. And straight away, Maitland. This is where they'll try and set Crowley and McFarlane free. Charlestown staying nice and disciplined, though, getting numbers back behind the ball.
Yeah, they're those little things, with a new coach. Maybe you weren't, and you've been in a bit of bad form. Maybe you weren't getting back in that shape. They had a back 6 there really quickly. And, that's often that effect when you get a new coach. The energy lifts. You're trying to impress the new coach and be part of his plans.
Yeah, we've see it plenty throughout the competition. It's always that bounce that's talked about. It's not a guarantee, but as you say, it does tend to sometimes just rejuvenate, whether that's because people are just thinking, geez, I don't want the new coach to have a look at me and think maybe that's the gap that I need to make a change in, and he's trying to put his own fingerprints on this team.
Yeah, I think with that one phase, Maitland showed how they can just flick a switch. They just sort of, it was a lovely ball through, and then McFarlane got released, and if he'd given a pen, I don't think anyone would have complained.
No, it certainly was one of those ones that you could have seen a justification either way, as Maitland decided to rotate this back through their defensive unit, and Corcoran. Ruiz playing a little deeper on the left now. He's looking for something, floats it out wide, trying to find a runner there, and that's a well-placed pass. This couldn't be controlled by Butchard. Now Jackson. Floating it up, looking for Cahill. You can find him with half a step of space, Cahill. He'll more than likely take advantage. Reid will take the throw in here. The midpoint of the attacking half goes all the way back to Jackson. All of a sudden, it's starting to look a little more stagnant, and both teams just, it appears, only just trying to loft them over the top and hope for the result.
Yeah, the game sort of just, Charlestown's lost a little bit of the grip they had. Maitland's coming back into it, as happens in football. I just wonder too, it's a big field. I think at times, like when they changed the point there through Ruiz direct, there was just no pressure on the ball, and on a big field, players with passing range, it's dangerous to sit off. And
Frenda here winds up, doesn't get as much as he might like, but it gets past Pate. I'm not quite sure whether that was a judgment or just an awkward bounce for Pate, but either way, it turns out to be a goal kick.
Especially with the back five that Maitland plays, or with the wing backs, you know, if they're allowed to just change the point directly, you're going to be doing a bit of running on this big field, and yeah, later in the game it might show.
Maitland now work this forward. Thompson. Bit of a run there as territory presents. Crowley just gets the jump start here. I think he knew it as well. He didn't really accelerate through, and the flag goes up. Again, promising though, if he can time that run.
Yep.
Yeah, Braden Crowley one-on-one with the goalkeeper. More often than not, he'll come out on top. Jackson swings it back now to Espelart. Just trying to look for an avenue forward, and they find it there to Lee. A heavy touch for him though. And Roos gives away the foul.
I think he got a little bit lucky there.
It was probably a fortunate call. Interesting listening to Coach Ruffo there, just saying to Farrell Trainer that he wants to see the ball moving quicker for them. It is certainly where they looked much more dangerous early when they got that quick ball movement. Here's one floated up in front, looking for Trainer racing down. Smale will track back. Ball play on, says the referee. Sliding in contact in the box is Kale. Play on again, says the referee. Opportunity here, well blocked in the end by Butchard, and another corner coming Charlestown's way. They find a little spring, and as soon as they start using that ball with a bit quicker direction like the coach asked, they look dangerous again.
Yeah, it was a little counter movement there. Trainer came and then went in behind, and then I thought Smale read it really well, and I thought he was unlucky not to get a free kick, but anyway, that's
opportunity here now. Hall again over the dead ball.
They've got to make something pay here.
Floated up, much heavier this time. Deflected down by one of the Maitland players. Trainer will track back onto it and pick it up outside the 18-yard box. Drops it back. Pappas floats it over the top. Wasn't really anyone else aware that pass was coming, and Butchard will snatch it away and take it on. Plays it at McFarlane. Pappas right up on his tail.
Yeah, just so composed on the ball, isn't he? That was fantastic. That's the difference. You're coming out of defence and a player keeps the ball like that. It just takes the pressure off, and you can now see Maitland got themselves out and in control of the ball. So those players are really key. like McFarlane that can just, he's a wizard on the ball.
Here he is again, moving it as they move it out, looking to present for an option. Pushes forward instead. Now drop back. He's sitting all the way back in the heart of defence while they get set. They play it forward now, opportunity, but Hayes is there. Power, O'Toole trying to feed it back. And foul given in favour of Jordan Jackson.
Yeah, I think Lundy hasn't been overly involved. He hasn't got many touches. I thought that ball that they slid through for him earlier was a great run. And Power O'Toole is another dangerous player. Probably haven't got as much ball as they would have liked. It's sort of breaking down a bit as they go through that middle third. And that's a credit to Charlestown also.
It certainly feels like Maitland not having as much success on progressing it forward and around. Charlestown's block just drifting left to right with the ball and thwarting them a little, which is, as you say, compliments to Charlestown about how well they're executing, because it only takes one person to be out of assignment on that block and it can all fall down very quickly. Escalante's just going to go directly looking for Trainer here. Gets the head to it. His friend on Rusco, shoulder to shoulder. Ruiz comes away with it. He'll play it out to Butchard. Back into Ruiz.
Again, Lundy's making good little runs in there, and he's been rewarded once, so Charlestown just got to beware at times. He's drifting in between the left centre back and left back, and I'm not sure anyone's got him at a split moment. So
nice little touch into the box here. If McFarlane can control it, could be trouble. Jackson just prods it over the bar himself, and it will be a corner, the first for the home side. This is one of those danger moments we were talking about before, Zany, where you've had the ball all up the other end and then all of a sudden you get caught on your heels, and if they can capitalise, they go the short corner, Maitland. Looked to play it back to Ruiz, but it was never heavy enough. Kale tried to take on the man, doesn't work out. Fed into the box, and Crowley pushed it just wide. A little fingertip on it from Escalante as well, and it'll be another corner. Don't give him too many sniffs in the box there like that.
Would that goal have been accredited to the short corner, or they got lucky it didn't go down the other end, I think.
Try it there again. This time it works a little better.
Yep.
Fed in low. Jackson at the front of the pack. Heads it away for now. Ruiz gets up and he'll head it across the sideline, and Azzurri will escape with a throw. It's always interesting when teams go with a tactic, whether it's a short corner or something else that's a little more niche, and they just persist with it irrespective. It'll be interesting to see whether that's a continued presence or just an option, as Kale gets in a little foot race here and beats Corcoran to the outside, but has to peel back for it. Feeds it out now onto the left. Opportunity here for Charleston if they can feed it into the box, and I'll happily just play it into the legs, and Vimpani will earn his side another corner down here. And I think it's fair to say, certainly from the western side of the ground, the eastern side of the ground here, that Poole hasn't quite got his weighting right on these corners. He looked much more dangerous from the side closer to camera.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The wind's sort of gusting, dropping off. It'd be quite difficult.
Sounds dangerous, and Pate soars above the pack and takes it.
He's been very good, hasn't he, on these crosses? It's really good for you as a defender when your goalkeeper's coming out attacking the ball. I know he dropped that other one earlier, but he's quick to pick it up, and it's just the intent. If your goalkeeper's staying on the line, it's a bit worrying.
He's an interesting story, isn't he? He left Maitland at the start of last year, and then opportunity presented with an injury, and he came back midway through the season and hasn't looked like being dislodged from that number one keeper's spot, which is great to see him making his way through, and certainly one of a number of young keepers making a name for themselves. There's a few keepers as Sam Escalante waits for this one. Probably don't quite fit that young category floating around, PK and a couple of others.
Yeah. that was that run by Lundy, and again he knew a heavier ball there, and he was probably in behind and on goal.
Cahill pushes that into the box, but it's seen away.
But what you're saying with the goalkeeper, it's really hard, isn't it? My son's a goalkeeper, and you always need a backup, and goalkeepers, like players, want to play. So
this one lofted out, looking for Crowley. He gets the first touch. Jackson, Crowley drags him to ground, trying to milk the foul. He gets up, gives him a pat on the back, and has a little bit of a chuckle that he got out manoeuvred there.
Yeah, Jacko did well and got his body on him and defended that really well.
It's back to the keepers for a second, Tony. I've always found it puzzling. As a backup keeper, it's probably one of the toughest jobs in sport, because you've got to be there, be supportive of the one guy who has got the spot that you want. You're the training partners together normally in most of the training drills while everyone else is doing outfield drills.
Yep.
And basically the main way you get a gig is if your team's going poorly or your mate gets injured.
Well, to start with, you've got to be a bit different to want to be a goalkeeper. So if you're looking for an explanation from me, I can't explain it. I know my son is a goalkeeper, but...
Still a mindset you haven't quite penetrated into.
Yeah, you're right, but it's such an interesting position.
Flying up against Maitland there for offside.
I like when they create these little angles and they make little runs in behind, and they look really dangerous, Maitland. Lundy, and even then McFarlane, mixing up the game, not just coming to the ball. He made a run in behind there, and yeah, it was unlucky. It was just off the timing of the run.
As you say, it does look dangerous once they get a couple of bodies in motion in there, those short little passes, and especially with some of those players they've got in there, like the McFarlanes and the Lundys that have got good touch in close quarters.
It's clever movement too. It's not just movement. They're clever players, and those three, and their movement's really good.
As Maitland try and move this out of their back line and take it on. They find Roos in the midfield, but he's got to rotate it back through. Butchard to Thompson. He'll come to Smale here on the left.
The way they're controlling the ball now, this is where you do your running, and it catches up with you later on. Charlestown's going to have to work hard. They're probably going to need some of the players on the bench to come on and put in a shift as well, if they're going to get the win up here.
Some very handy names on their bench that have started plenty of games for them. When you look at names like Sutherland and Harry Frendo most notably. I mean, Harry Frendo was essentially in the starting 11 for most of last season for them.
Yeah.
Certainly got some players to draw on as Maitland try and conjure something again, and do get a free kick in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the control of the game. Maitland's now just sort of camped in the Azzurri half. They were having that problem earlier, going mid third to their attacking, but now they've got it right, and they're just starting to squeeze. Hasn't been too many clear chances, but you can just feel the pressure building.
Certainly can. See what they can do here. 3 over the dead ball. Crowley, McFarlane and Ruiz. Power O'Toole's going to wander through as well, just to add further confusion to the mix. McFarlane to strike it, looking for the top bins, just wide. He wasn't far away there. Escalante was tracking it. But that was well struck considering the breeze that's floating across.
I was about to say, it's going to take a good strike from there, and it was a really good strike from McFarlane.
Good decision making, Sammy, good decision.
Shrufo giving some vocal encouragement to his keeper there. This one goes high into the sky here at Cook Square.
There's that wind again.
Yeah. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because as I said before, we're right at the top of the hill, so it can come from any angle and it can change quickly and swirl around. This trainer pushes forward, gets a nice friendly deflection, floats it into the box, and it'll just go over the crossbar. I think that was more of a cross than a shot, but he would have claimed it either way if it had gone into the back of the net.
Yeah, just rushed himself. Probably could have had another touch, and he's looking dangerous, but down here, Farrell.
Happy to play this out from the back now. Corcoran gets a return pass and utilise Thompson. Thompson, a good story after that back injury. Looked like it might have curtailed his career. Good to see him back and in action. A key return, I think, for Maitland this year at the heart of defence.
Yeah, it's interesting still seeing him up the back. But he's very good with the ball, got good passing range and clever footballer. So there's that little run again, and just they're not hitting or connecting with that pass, but when they do, it's going to be danger time for Azzurri, I think.
Ball pinballs around, falls to Hoole, who pops it wide to Trainer, who's been very busy in the opening exchanges. He gets the outside. It's a little touch. But wasn't a whole lot in it. Oh, he just grazed the shin. Just looking at Trainer. Just wondering whether there's not any shin pads in there. I know they're only small these days, a lot of them, but got it right down the shin, I think, the clip.
Yeah, I know when I came into first grade, which is 30 years ago, you weren't wearing shin pads that small.
So shin pads would look like a cast compared to what they wear now.
Yeah, it was a lot more. It was a lot slower and more physical. Let me tell you.
We were talking about that before, weren't we? Off the air when we were talking about, some more experienced campaigners that might like to press the buttons of certain people that would have been dealt with in a very different manner in your era of playing. Cleared away at the last line there.
Header.
There's McFarlane. Look at that control and touch again. Just pulls it up. Doesn't panic. Woodchard back to McFarlane. Corcoran now. Lee pressing, trying to close down the options. They find a ball for Ruiz. Roos pops it back to the centre back.
Yeah, well played. Lovely ball there. All started but with that player securing the ball out of defence, and it's McFarlane again.
Lundy almost popped in behind there. Again, really good work from Jackson. It's a busy job for Hannah Hayes at the back there when you've got those players with all those runs in behind. Ball for Trainer now. Take on Smale, cuts inside, Cahill to the outside. Nice little ball. The outside of the boot. Floated into the box and Trainer just overran it a little. He's pushing high.
Yeah, that final ball is letting them down. But they look dangerous. I like the look of the front line. Especially here, Trainer and Cahill.
Certainly looks lively when you get Hull feeding those two, doesn't it?
Yep.
Interesting to see, though. I noticed Kieran Hayes started to really push forward there, and as things pulled up a little bit, no one dropping back. So that might be the opportunity for Maitland with that pass in behind if they can get on the quick counter. Opportunity here, fed into the box. There's Hayes. He's the man to clear it away. Overhit it past Lee, and Corcoran will just sit on this one for a moment and assess his options and decide Smale's the best of them. Now Ruiz. McFarlane wide on the left. Turns it to the import in Ruiz, and now back to Smale. Very patient, Maitland. Happy to just work it around, as you said, utilise this big space of Cook Square Park and make Charlestown burn the fuel in defence. Thompson now. Just taking their time. Now floats it wide, looking for McFarlane. I was going to say McFarlane might need to be more of a basketball build than a football build if he's going to get that one.
Yeah, I like the idea, but they're really in control now. Maitland. Let's see, Bell Swans have just taken the lead.
Pressure on it, Lamp, and at Arthur Eden Oval.
Yeah, look, I go back to when we played Bell Swans, and they're more than just workers this year. And I was really impressed that night we played them, and yeah, they're flying at the moment.
I think watching them last year, that you could see that Mick Stafford had brought a few key cogs, and you know, it's I guess a nature of the progression going from Northern League to NPL, that a couple of those Northern League keys have, you know, been moved on. A couple have been kept. The reality is you're not going to bring a whole Northern League squad up and plug in 2 people and be, you know, top 5 competitive, and it will take a couple of seasons. But I think that was always the plan out there from talking to those, you know, involved, Mick Stafford and others, that they knew survival was the key first year and then start to push up. I think they've probably surprised plenty in terms of how quickly they've got to that position, but still a long way to go as the play's broken up there with some nice defence. But Charlestown quickly get the turnover again here. Reed just working the avenues over, delivers into the box, beyond the box and into the hoardings.
Yeah, really disappointing. Their final cross or pass has just let them down today. But yeah, touching on Bell's ones, I think what Mick did really well is, I think when you come up, if you there's a complete overhaul of players. If you go back down, you're probably going to have another one, and he just slowly built it, and he works ever so hard, and yeah, deserves all the success he's getting at the moment.
Certainly hasn't hurt bringing in one of the most impressive debutant strikers in a few years in Fwelly that's playing up front for them. There's opportunity here for Power O'Toole. Threads it across the face. Struck by Crowley, well saved. Escalante parries it away, gets down, keeps it inside the byline too, does he? No, says the referee. We'll have a corner. There's plenty of pace on that. Escalante read it well.
Yeah, Crowley created that. He came wide, drew Hoole out, opened a little channel. It was a lovely ball to Power O'Toole and a great run. And great save at the end. I thought it was a goal when I saw Crowley hitting it.
McFarlane from the corner. No short corner this time. Little glancing header on it. And there you go. Crowley doesn't get it with the rocket, but he nods it home with the head. Was it Crowley?
He got the original touch, and I think it may have been Power O'Toole. I'm not quite sure who finished it, but Crowley definitely got a touch to it.
He's either got an assist or a goal. It's always hard to pick up live when there's so many bodies in action, but Matt Smale getting the last touch. There you go. Third time's the charm, Zanny, between all. The ground announcer's got us covered. So Matt Smale getting the final touch after the Crowley glancing head, and Maitland take the lead late in this first half. 1-0. The reserve grade boys are up and about it. Super Smale, I think, was the call.
Yeah, should have realised there was a defender. It wasn't much of a celebration, was it?
You'd think with them being fewer and further between, there'd be bigger celebrations, but not necessarily the way. Understated a lot of the time. These guys in the middle of defence, as that takes a deflection off Matt Cahill, as the gale force winds almost pick up here now. We've had a bit of everything. If they can blow the clouds away and bring the sun back out. Thompson just pushes that across the sideline, and Azzurri get the throw.
Look, to concede off a corner after playing pretty well in the first half, it would be really disappointing for Josh.
Josh will be hoping that stat that I read out earlier, if they don't score in the first half, they don't go on to win. It's able to be undone in the shadows of half-time here with a goal. That one's just cleared away for the time being, but another chance. Charlestown, good territory. Pappas hasn't had a lot of chances to be involved. Plays it now. Oh. Pappas back over the top. Oh, can't quite hold on to it. He literally tried to grab it with both boots there. Now Crowley puts down the accelerator, tracking across field. Pop back for Corcoran.
He's actually defended well, Smale. It's been a tough gig out here against Trainer, and he's had a good game capped off with a goal.
It's always nice when you're at the back defending away, and then you're the one that gets to get the last touch to put it home for the lead. He's starting to ask for a little increase in pay when he's doing all the work at both ends.
Well, when you think about it, where they've made a few inroads has been on this left side, and some of Smale's passing has been quite good. Power O'Toole's causing issues. There's Lundy looking to make a forward run again. They look like in total control now. We talked about, 2 big games today. Well, the 2 teams inside the 5 are up at the moment, so yeah, there could be a bit of a divide created.
Certainly could be when you have a look at where it all sits. I guess, you want to talk about essentially the live ladder. It was, I think, a 4-point gap or a 5-point gap coming into today, and with that, I mean, you've got Edgeworth still to play, and they're now the 6 points away from Charlestown. So depending on how it plays out as the day goes on and the weekend goes on, Edgeworth get points as well,
which we hope they don't.
I was leaving that a little bit more open, Happy for them just to keep the competition competitive by not taking any points tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great for the competition. But it's quite funny because probably in all the years I've coached, it seems like every week is a tough game. There's no easy games, and it's quite interesting. It's just fine lines between winning and losing. There really isn't a lot in it.
I think last week told that story. If you look at the Broadmeadow and Edgeworth games, most particularly, Edgeworth, those 2 sides that sat in the top 5, in the higher ranking spot, finding a way just to snatch a point from a team below them. Yep. Edgeworth against Olympic and Broadmeadow here against Maitland.
Yep.
As we head in further into stoppage time, 5 minutes of added time to be played in total. Sometimes, we're having a chat last week with Blair Newham as Crowley sneaks in behind. Could he get a second here for his side? Just finish it across the front of Esquilart. Beautiful touch, and there is his 12th goal of the season. The former A-League star continues to keep his hat in the ring for the Golden Boot, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Maitland go from level to 2-0 up here in the shadows of half-time.
Yeah, that was all about the pass from McFarlane. It's a lovely finish, but it's what Crowley does. But the pass, that was sensational. And he's just been dropping in between the 2 midfielders, Pappas and Frendo, and he just gets nice little positions where he can create, and that's a real blow to Azzurri. Like, after the way they've played, it's pretty harsh.
Now, we talked about it before. Football can be a very cruel game sometimes. They played so well for the first 40, and then all of a sudden, in a matter of 5 minutes, they find themselves 2 goals down. Interesting challenge for Josh Rufo in first game as an NPL head coach to address the bunch at half-time. I'm sure he'll take plenty of positives from it, but unfortunately, there's a real deficit from them to claw back at the moment. They could find something here in the shadows of half-time would be magnificent, and that'd be a nice little piece of momentum. And they look to go to the one avenue that's looked the most dangerous for them in Farrell Trainer. He does well playing it back here, and Hall's going to be under pressure. Power O'Toole, he's not happy with a 2-goal. He keeps it just inside the sideline, and Kieran Hayes comes in and clatters into him and pushes it across the line. Last touch coming off Power O'Toole, though. So it will be an Azzurri throw. I think Charlestown, after those couple of goals, only they just look a little, flat, both mentally but physically as well, a couple of them, and that comes back to what you talked about earlier with Maitland just happy to use them like an accordion, playing that ball back and forward across that back line.
Yeah, I was just looking at the form before the game and realised they'd lost 3 in a row, Charlestown, and yeah, I guess when that happens, you fall behind and it's a bit of, here we go again, and Yeah, new coach come in, they probably could have taken the lead early, and it's a different game, but now it's sort of like you can feel it, can't you? The air sort of go out of them.
Opportunity again here. Crowley sneaking into the 18-yard box. Will he shoot or share? Decides to play it into the box and tracking back and clear it away, Azzurri. That's what I was talking about a little bit with just before that goal with Olympic, and there's a number of people talking about even, I had Blair Newham, the Hyper coach, on commentary with me, and the fact that a couple of times already this season Olympic have been in leading positions late in games and then ended up with a share of the points. They did it against Bell Swans a couple of weeks ago. They did it again last week against Edgeworth, and these sorts of things can very much not intentionally but subconsciously become habits.
Yeah, draws don't really help you, do they? You're almost better off just going for the win and winning games. Yeah, draws. I guess back in the day when you drew a game, it was not a bad result, but it's you've really got to win games to stay up, and at the moment looks like Maitland will be winning this one.
I think that was the conversation with Blair, was that it's been so long for Olympic since they've really had winning form that they're almost afraid to put the foot on the throat when they were up by one and just happy trying to hold on. And that becomes a very risky proposition as Maitland here try and push again for another goal late in this half, and they loft it over the top looking for McFarlane. He tracks back into the legs of Trainer. He's happy to play it now for Hoole. He feeds it forward, but our referee will say that will do us for the first half, and for 40 minutes it looked like an even contest. Azzurri might have even thought they'd go to the break with bragging rights, but Maitland, 2 late strikes, one through Matt Smale, the other through Braden Crowley, set up by Daniel McFarlane, see them at the break 2 goals to nil to the good here at home, and it's going to be very different moods in the sheds for a game that's pretty much been in the balance in that first half, Zany.
Yeah, it must be really tough to pick your team up. I've actually been lucky enough, never lost 3 in a row. And I can only imagine it must be, especially coming in as a new coach, you, I guess, want to see some things. You can't change it in a week, but I'd say you would have been really happy with the start, and thought, here we go, it might be, we're on here. And then you're walking in at half time scratching your head, so it's a big talk probably for their season and get them back on track, but it's going to be a long way back here after what I've seen at the end of that half.
Well, we'll wait and see, Josh Ruffo. A big talk here, some momentum hopefully, at least, even if not the result.
Oh yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. Getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good. Oh yeah, that's the feeling. Progress. Momentum. getting somewhere. That's what it feels like when you bank with Newcastle Permanent. With local experts and award-winning customer service. We're here for you, and we're here for good.
Welcome back to Cook Square Park. All set for the second half here between Maitland FC and Charlestown Azzurri. Azzurri with work to do under new head coach Josh Rufo. They trailed 2-0 after 2 goals late in that half for Maitland the first. Tapped home by Matt Smale the second. Caressed in by Braden Crowley after great lead-up work from Daniel McFarlane. Sees the home side with a 2-goal advantage. Chris McPherson, and alongside me is Damien Zane. And Zane, we were talking about it in the back end of that first half and again at half-time. Tough for Charlestown considering the run of form they've been on. They played so well, excellently for the first 20 minutes and really well for the next 20, but those last few minutes of that first half have just come back to bite them in the backside.
Yeah, they lost control of it, but they sort of didn't. They were coping fine. There were no clear-cut chances, and then the corner happened, and I just realised it's 7 minutes before half-time. You're nearly there, and yeah, it would have been disappointing. The second goal, that was just a hammer blow. So, be interesting to see what they've said at half-time and how they come out and approach this second half.
I'll have the first touch of the football here, and it's Matt Cahill, the man who probably had the best of the opportunities early in that first half for them. Can they find the quick response here? Jackson to Reed. Happy to utilise it. Also be interesting to see at what point the new manager goes to his bench and looks to inject some fresh blood.
One thing I just thought of then as I was seeing the midfield trying to get on the ball, and you alluded to it in the first half, was Pappas hadn't been on the ball much, and I think they need to get him on the ball more often and get him involved.
Well, it's interesting, we haven't really seen much of either Pappas or Frendo on the ball either. They're, true midfielders. So they've really gone, as we saw, a lot through Farrell Traynor down that right flank and even a few times probing down the left side with Vimpani and trying to use the width here. So whether they can get some more ball movement through those midfielders will be, I guess, only something we'll see with time here as Butchard cuts back infield. McFarlane. Nice little run and pass as well. O'Toole popping it back now. Lundy feeds it off. O'Toole's there. Back in at O'Toole again. Escalante takes it. Interesting to see O'Toole sticking to this near side touchline again. I don't know whether that's tactical or he just likes the camera. A bit of a match-up change for him, though.
Yeah, I think he just drifts a bit and he's got a bit of a free rein. And look, they all do. I think the first or the second goal, Crowley was out on the left.
Opportunity here for Cahill. Takes a strike, pushes it over the crossbar.
Yeah, they need something, don't they? They would have loved a goal there.
Chance probably a little more complex than his one in the first half, but yeah, it is interesting that I guess almost front four that they play to an extent, Maitland, with Lundy and O'Toole. You can just see them, they rotate around and they fill in as Crowley and McFarlane drift deeper. Those two come in and come across. Ruiz just cops a little clip from Frendo. It's been one of the differences, hasn't it? Ruiz has been really busy in terms of just structuring and holding up the ball and utilising it with both the midfielders, Ruiz and Roos, for Maitland, whereas we haven't really seen that man that's on the ball now, or his midfield partner.
No, what a lovely position again, McFarlane. He's positioning him behind those defensive mids. Pappas and Frendo is superb.
Traynor working hard, certainly. He's Traynor working hard here, getting the ball into the edge of the box for Hall, who's pushed up. There's Frendo now. Traynor It's almost like they feel like trainers. They get out of jail free cards. They loft this into the box, and somehow it's beaten everyone and sliced in. And it's a great result for Charlestown. They get the early one there. I was about to say they might have been unlucky not to have been gifted a penalty because Chang Hee Lee was being held onto for all money, and I think that's exactly what Taylor Pate was watching as the ball bounced past him and went into the net there, and Azzurri all of a sudden back within one.
Yeah, credit to Matty Kao. He kept going with the ball. I was the same. I was sort of watching off thinking it was going to be a penalty, but that's exactly what they needed after half-time.
Straight away, here the change in emotion. A little misstep there by Corcoran. You won't see too many of those.
Even the step up there, there's energy all of a sudden. And
it's amazing what a goal can do in terms of the tempo and the momentum here. Just look at that. A few missteps all of a sudden at the back from Maitland, who looked so solid for the opening 50 minutes.
And it's probably a bit of a... probably the one downside to Maitland this year is they've dominated games at times and conceded out of nothing, and that was sort of out of nothing, wasn't it, really? Just a ball swung in and not dealt with.
As you say, we've seen it a couple of times this year. A couple of weeks ago, I touched on that game where Braden Crowley bagged 5, and they led 4-0 and looked like they were doing it in a cakewalk, and then all of a sudden, Adamstown nabbed a couple back, and it was only after that Crowley iced it with the 5th. But yeah, they're very, very prone to a little bit of a lapse at the back, and it's probably part of what you alluded to in the first half, Zany, in terms of their, I guess, slightly more porous than they might like defence. Here's an opportunity. Charlestown pushing and pressing. Plenty of energy. Smale's just going to go looking for a second himself. Try to play it into the box to his own advantage. Doesn't work out. Oh, with a nice little touch to navigate around Smale, and Frendo probably lucky not to give away a foul there.
Very lucky.
Maitland get the ball though. McFarlane, a little touch in. And a handball call. Escalante comes up to take a free kick and calls his side to the left where he'll send it. He goes long looking for Lee. Maitland get the header, but it goes out of play, and now Reid with the throw.
Yeah, I think Scott Smith unhappy.
with their import there?
Yeah, didn't win the header, and he can probably talk because he would have won that header.
It's been interesting. We haven't seen a whole lot of involvement from Lee yet. He's looked really impressive with the press a couple of times and forced that mistake in the first half that almost led to a goal, but probably wanting a little bit more from a Visa player.
Yeah, he looks dangerous.
Here he is now. I was going to say he's going to make a liar out of me after that. Here's Pappas pushing forward. Well, he thought about taking a strike from range, Reece Pappas. One who's not afraid to pull the trigger.
No, and he's got a good shot, Reece.
Tap on there from Vimpani, and Reid puts it into the box. It's headed down for Maitland, and Charlestown just sitting and watching and letting Maitland have it. Crowley sneaking in behind. That could have been dangerous. Escalante was coming out, and Hayes was coming to it as well. Jackson happy just to control it, play it. Vimpani, little 1-2 movement. Return pass doesn't find him though. Tracks across the sideline.
And that must be frustrating to Husey, because as Caleb Reid crossed there, I looked at their structure. It's quite good. They defended the cross, and they just had that moment where they there's a lapse, and Azzurri got themselves back in the game. So yeah, I don't think it's massive issues. It's just little lapses they're having.
Effort there from Vimpani. He certainly hasn't been left lacking in the effort department today, Cooper Vimpani. That's better from Lee. Out muscles his fellow import, the American in Ruiz, but Ruiz comes back. Opportunity here. Cahill, he's got Vimpani wide if he wants him. He uses him on the left. He drops it back to Reed. And they'll work it to Frendo. Frendo slices it off the outside a bit. I'm not quite sure that's what he was looking for. Hall gets it. Pappas. Awkward bounce for Trainer. Smale gets a touch but falls back for Trainer. Can he feed the cross here? And he does. Back post. Vimpani off the woodwork. And the ball dropped back to the top of the 18-yard box, but there was no one advancing on it. Pappas arrived late.
Yeah, I originally thought the cut back there to Pappas was on, so did he. But it was a lovely ball to the back post, and it really should have been 2-all.
The story of Azzurri's day, and if you talk to some of the people from the club, probably their season, like the earlier one, at prime opportunities. This one's fed in. Lee gets a header and pushes it just wide of the right post. But they've been so close yet so far a number of times this year.
All the momentum is with them, but if they can, not if they need to get it 2-2, and I think Maitland will be playing under a bit of pressure then. It's great to see the response, but like they could have come out, rolled over, but they've come out with energy, and that's a good sign for Josh going forward.
It's always an interesting one, isn't it? The momentum piece and, you know, what the mindset is of both teams. And as you say, it could have been easy for Charlestown to come out with, you know, the cue in the rack essentially. But equally, Maitland, and it appeared they almost did come out thinking that the script was just going to be, you know, we'll advance from here. We've got the run of the game at this point. They had all the momentum heading into half time, but Charlestown reset and decided they weren't playing to that script.
Yeah, and it's funny with the wind. Hey, sometimes you think you're going to dominate a half, and you may have the wind, and then yeah, it doesn't always end up, you know, like playing out like that.
Certainly not, as Trainer drops it back from Hull here. Hull floating it into the box, looking for Vimpani at the back post again. Farland heads it down. Pappas just prods it into the box. Cahill wins it out. Feeds it back to Trainer. Floats it up into the box for Lee, who got caught awkwardly there and didn't quite get the header how he would have liked. Kind of felt like he got caught on his own feet there.
Yeah, I think there's been enough signs that the Azzurri attackers really have to, when they get into crossing positions, attack that ball with some purpose, and they might get the reward that Cahill got.
It'll be interesting to see. Looks like a bit of change coming for Azzurri with potentially Martinelli coming on. I wonder if after the frustrations of their assistant coach, it might not be for Lee to come off.
I think he's odds on.
Ruiz putting themselves under pressure a little there, Maitland, to get out. Vimpani snatches that away. Can't quite control the touch, a little heavy, and Maitland will breathe a sigh of relief for the time being. Butchard will roll it down. McFarlane now. Looks like he has all the time in the world when he's on the ball, and offside flag goes up against Lundy, who deposits that almost into the next postcode. And unsurprisingly, it will be Lee coming off and Martinelli going on. Let's see whether or not he can. He's getting some last instructions from the assistant coach, so he'll be very clear on what's expected of him.
And he is tidy in and around the box, so this could be interesting if they can get their delivery right.
Jackson floats this up. Reed trying to close across, can't get there. Vimpani, nice little touch back over his own head. Dispossessed though by Roos. Martinelli just shrugs off the attention of Butchard, and down he goes. Roos slides in. Vimpani sneaks around the outside. Tries to feed it into the box, looking for Cahill, and Cahill will get the last touch before it goes over the byline, says our referee.
There's that final delivery again. If they say Josh will watch the game back, and it's probably be looking to do a bit of crossing, had training and finishing. They've got themselves down into good areas. It's just been that final delivery. When they got it right, they scored. So
that might be the lesson in it.
Yeah. Oh,
that's a pretty hefty challenge. There's that Hull that's come in. The referee might. He's going to go to the pocket here. He will. Matt Hall knew as soon as he got back to his feet there that he'd overdone that one and immediately attempted to raise his hand in apology, but the referee just raised his hand in return with the yellow card. Maitland work this one again through their back line. Pulling it up and moving it through ease now. He wants to go forward. A little touch there. McFarlane is about to pounce, but Azzurri took it away.
Well, you haven't heard us talk about McFarlane or Crowley, have you, in the second half? There was a few times McFarlane got in great positions early on in the second half, but since then, Azzurri's really stifled them and controlled the game.
Since that goal, isn't it? That was the literal momentum swing, and here we see Martinelli sniffing in behind. Winds up, takes a shot, finds the woodwork. I tell you what, Taylor Pate was stranded if that snuck inside the post, and he knows it. You can tell from the look he gives it afterwards. Martinelli almost grabbed something from nothing then.
Yeah, I felt it was a good sub, and I reckon he's nailed the timing. He's already looked dangerous a couple of times, Martinelli. And he's a goal scorer. That's one thing he does do.
Well, if he can get himself as the next scorer here, that'll certainly go a long way towards giving Charlestown a chance at snatching what certainly at half-time looked like a very unlikely 3 points. I don't think even many people would have been tipping them to come back and restore parity the way that last 5 or 6 minutes of the first half went.
No, I was definitely interested to see how it went. They had every reason to sort of feel hard done by, but they've come out second half really good, and they're on top here.
McFarlane a little clip on Frendo. And interestingly, since that goal too, we've seen a lot more touches, a lot more use of the ball through those two men that are right there near it now in Pappas and Frendo. Here we go. They're going to set up here. Pappas is going to look to float it in, is he? Martinelli going to set himself up. Headed away though by Maitland, easily dealt with. Trainer dropping it back to Hull. Hull slices underneath it. Martinelli throws himself into the challenge with McFarlane, but McFarlane wins out. Hull outmuscles Crowley. Crowley appeals to the referee, but not getting any friendship there. Hayes feeds it in. Friendly bounce to Trainer, headed in, and all of a sudden they are on equal pegging. Cooper Vimpani found the woodwork earlier. This time he finds the back of the net and just floated in dangerously from Trainer. And Vimpani was the man on the spot, and all of a sudden we are 2-2 and all locked up.
Yeah, lovely work there. Really nice ball by Kieran Hayes, the first one, and great cross at his second attempt, and seeing Vimpani score a few headers. That's why I was surprised he missed the one at the back post. He's actually quite decent with his head.
Looked fairly clinical there, didn't he? He looked like he caught a step underneath, and then he just sort of threw himself up and got behind it, which is not easy to do with try and twist yourself and then finish it, but he made it look relatively easy, the young man. All of a sudden, all locked up, 2 goals all with plenty of time to play.
And look, Maitland's going to need to get some control back here, because if they don't, there's only one team that's going to get the third one at the moment.
They hardly look like having possession much over halfway in the exchanges of this second half so far, Maitland. Here they go, trying to float one in behind for Lundy, but I fancy that he probably would have been adjudged offside anyway on that one. He might have jumped the gun a little early.
Yeah, Azzurri's line has been superb in the second half. It probably was in the first half, but the second half it's closer to us, and they're holding a good line, and a lot of the runs are going offside.
68 minutes gone in the other game, and it's still tied up at 1-1 there as well. So both games well and truly in the balance as they feed this through, looking for Butchard. Reed's going to try and shepherd it, but gets a touch, so he has to push back. Vimpani cleaned up by Lundy. Azzurri crowd not very happy. Fairly clear-cut yellow card though. Straightforward decision for the referee. Regan Lundy having some, we'll call it banter with the Azzurri bench.
Yeah, and I think this is what Josh and Scott Smith alongside him will bring the passion back in, and you can feel it, can't you?
Pushing forward all of a sudden, bit of momentum.
Oh.
Numbers sniffing about if there's any fumble there from Payton. It's a big difference at the moment for Azzurri. All of a sudden they're pushing those numbers forward and drifting back as that Power O'Toole just down. Of course, we talked about Regan Lundy getting into some running engagement with the Azzurri bench before. Well known to Azzurri and their fans.
Yeah.
Former Charlestown player.
It's probably come at a good time for Maitland, in all honesty.
Little reset.
They just haven't been in this game in the second half at all. I don't think they've had a shot.
I was going to say, I think if someone said to you that it was 2-0 at half time, the way, and then you just saw the general play of this opening stage of the second half, you would have thought Charlestown were the side that were leading at the break and have just come and put the foot on the throat.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Interesting times. O'Toole up and on his feet, which is always good to see. We'll see the change coming. Angus Muddle will come on for Power O'Toole. Just over 20 minutes remaining here. Can Maitland find the response after that momentary reset? There's Muddle with his first touch. They push forward here now, Maitland. Looking for McFarlane. Trainer just holding off and allowing his team to win out. All pushed wide. And here goes Reed. Vimpani making a strong run down the left, but he's forced to turn back infield. Frendo. Drive it long. Looking for Cahill. He tried to nod it on, but Butchard snuck around the back and cleaned it up and dropped it back to Pate.
Yeah, good cover by Butchard there. I think having coached Muddle for a couple of years, I think this is a good substitution. He works hard, he's clever on the ball, and doesn't turn it over cheaply, so probably exactly what they need.
McFarlane, that's a nice ball. Reed puts his hand up for offside. Lundy's timed this one well.
Yep.
Just a little heavy touch and allows Jackson to track back and diffuse the situation.
Yeah, that was a great run and correct decision also.
Pappas pushing it forward optimistically, trying to thread the needle in behind for Martinelli. Doesn't work. And Thompson has some time and space, and he'll take the time and lay it off for Muddle.
Yeah, when that ball goes forward, Azzurri probably need to keep it there, and you can just feel Maitland taking a bit of the sting out of him here. This is what sort of happened in the first half. All of a sudden, Maitland started inching their way up and pinning Charlestown back, and the momentum swung.
Little fed out now for Crowley. He's looking again for the assistant referee. Crowley
Great defender.
And it's wonderful work there. Hayes timed that well. He only had one real chance to get the boot in and nailed it. Now, give Trainer some space down the right. He'll play it out in front of Cahill and try and overlap back inside to create an opportunity. That's a good ball from Matt Cahill. Trainer pops it in the box, looking for Martinelli. And Corcoran arrives on the scene and clubs it out into the car park to save the day.
Great run, and there's that combination, Trainer and Cahill again.
It's a big effort run there from Trainer to get back inside and create a potential opportunity for Azzurri. His work rate's been immense. He's been almost their go-to. Whenever they can, Martinelli here trying to fight with Corcoran. It's a wily customer, Luke Corcoran.
And in that little phase, Pappas and Frendo both got a touch, so they're coming into the game here. And
a few clumsy challenges, a foul will go against Matt Cahill. It was interesting in that first half, wasn't it? It really looked like it was Trainer or bust, whereas now they've just started to structure some things in the midfield, take some other avenues. Not necessarily they're pushing them directly there. Trainer's still their get out, but it's just forcing Maitland to consider some other options might be coming at them almost.
Yeah, correct. And I guess that affects the defensive midfielders for Maitland. They were sitting deeper and screening the front guys, but now they're having to step up and get some pressure onto Pappas and Frendo, which again creates space in the next line.
Now Muddle gets a little touch for Ruiz. Misdirected pass Hayes. He misdirects his equal in, just returns the favour.
Yeah, if he hits a pass there, they're out. So him and Jacko have been superb at centre back also. I know they've conceded 2 goals, but one was from sort of a corner, but their general play has been really good.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first half. There's been a number of opportunities to fuse, to be fair, at both ends by
and that was it there. They dropped the line at the right time and defended it well.
Vimpani cuts inside. Pinball through a couple of defenders. Ruiz has to throw himself at it in the end, and it goes back to Jackson. He's looking dangerous now. He's got a spring in his step, Vimpani, after that goal.
Yeah, and he can score goals.
Now Reid. Nothing presents down the left, so he pulls back. And
that's a great ball.
Frendo feeds it in. Well read. Cahill, one-on-one at the back. Gets to the inside. Pushes it across now. Trainer will take a strike. No deflection, says the referee, so we'll have a goal kick. And the Azzurri will look to come to their bench again as Harry Frendo and Jared Sutherland get ready to enter the fray.
And we talked about the subs, and I think he's nailing this one as well. I think it's good timing. You get some fresh legs out there while they've got momentum.
Yeah, as you touched on just before, they've still got the momentum at the moment, but it feels like it's starting to fade a touch, and you don't want to wait till it's gone before you try and grab it back again. Good ball here for Crowley. Escalante's come off his line. Crowley, he'd love to have that touch again. I think he felt like he'd been sniped, but he holds the lower back. That's not a good sign if you're a Maitland fan. Something's just grabbed there as he's gone to hit that. Not great at all when your leading scorer goes down like that in open space.
Yeah, Escalante did really well there just to hold up. He realised the timing was off, but just his presence was enough to force the error.
Confirmation of the changes. Matt Cahill will come off, as will Vimpani. So Sutherland will go on for Vimpani like for like there, as will Frendo go on. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of a reshuffle, are we? Sutherland maybe going to push up front.
That's a good shift by those two boys. They've not just their attacking play, their work rate defensively, their forward runs, and you can see they're exhausted. Big field up here.
I was going to say it's not the warmest of days, but Matt Cahill looks like he's been for a run in the middle of summer. So, and he is a fit unit, Matt Cahill.
Yeah, and hey, that's what you want, isn't it?
You want them leaving nothing in the tank by the time they've come off.
Exactly right.
Two very good shifts, as you said. Young Vimpani getting the goal, bouncing back after the disappointment of the miss. Now it falls to Sutherland and Harry Friendo, of course. That's our fun now, as we get to make sure that we're clarifying which Friendo. And of course, at least they're not right next to each other on the field. They're on somewhat opposite sides, left and right. That'll give us a little bit of alleviation.
Like we said, they're not bad substitutions, are they?
No. It's certainly handy to have those sorts of players with fresh legs coming in inside the last 20.
There's Jacko again, and here's the midfield. Starting to look really organised and taking control of the game. There's the passing range that we're used to.
Nice ball from Pappas. Fine trainer. Can't be set free, so he'll return it down.
And there's the other midfielder.
Friendo, who returns it on. Thompson gets there first. Trainer's not giving up on it, though. He's going to harangue Thompson into the corner. Martinelli joins in a little too enthusiastically, and Smale gets the free kick, and straight away they get going here, Maitland. Through Muddle. Played across now. Corcoran to Butcher. They try and outflank Azzurri on the right. Space closes. They go back. They go back to Pate. No, they go to Muddle here. He takes the turn and go. Floats it to McFarlane. Nice little run there on the outside by Lundy. He's got the jump on Reed here, but just had to pull up to control it. Feeds it into the box.
Ball.
Crowley couldn't quite get the touch on it. It's pushed across. And we will have a corner for Maitland here. They've scored once from a corner today. Can they do it again?
Yeah, I thought Lundy should have taken his touch forward there, but he ended up delivering a lovely cross.
Good news for Maitland fans as Crowley didn't look hampered at all, chasing through on that one. McFarlane goes the short corner. Plays it into the top of the box and just prodded away. I was commenting on this last week with Blair Newer, Zany. I would like $1 for every time a corner is taken outside of the marked corner area. I think I'd be doing all right this season. Not many of them taken inside there. So we have Friendo to Friendo. Feeds it in, and again there it is. That last pass just left quite wanting. There was 4 white jerseys in there, and they picked out one of them perfectly.
They probably just rushed it. Could have kept the ball maybe, or had more touches.
Now Smale. The opening scorer, Matt Smale. Head inside the last 15 here of regulation time. Maitland working their width and trying to find the opportunity. Leaves the ball behind there. Does Roos. Let's push forward with the changes. Headed down, opportunity here. And Crowley was thinking about the bicycle. McFarlane takes a strike. And it's pushed wide. That looked like a prime opportunity to take the lead for Maitland. And Regan Lundy could have been the death blow against his former club.
Yeah, it was a good little ball there from Muddle. He's got that in his range of passing, and nice header back. Crowley just couldn't get it down. They were desperate, Azzurri, but they were a bit unlucky how it fell. But I think that's the first shot in the second half for Maitland.
I thought for a split second there that Braden Crowley was really going to test out his back and go for the bicycle when it was floating into him, the way he looked at it.
Well, Friendo dropped quickly, and I think that deterred him from doing it. And that's the desperation you need in the box. So Riffo will be happy.
Muddle leaves this one behind. Pappas, a little mistouch. Thinks about feeding Sutherland, decides better of it. He's taken a long time here. His opposite number in Muddle arrives, and he eventually gives it wide to Hoole. It might have been that chance for the quick ball movement that Ruffo was asking for before.
I think he was thinking lob the keeper, and that probably stopped him from driving forward and shooting.
Nelly tries to play it in there. Sutherland was sneaking in behind, but well dealt with by Thompson again. He's been very strong for them today at the back. Now out in front looking for McFarlane. Jackson times it well. I thought he was slowing up too early, but he read it well and dealt with it. And now Azzurri will play it out through Reed, who'll drive it long, hoping to find Frendo, but well controlled there. Corcoran plays it out to Butchart.
You probably should have given it to Frendo's feet there, because the wing back was pressuring Frendo. The ball in behind is just going straight to the back three, so you can slowly feel Maitland just starting to creep their way up the field now and pinning Charlestown back.
83 gone at Arthur Eden, and it's still all locked up there as well. Little in advance of this one. They're 1-all, we're 2-all. Crossed in dangerously by Muddle, just beats Crowley. As Maitland now look to inject some fresh legs, and Regan Lundy will make way. Jaden Ritchie will come in for him. And the other player will be Richard Ruiz, and he'll be replaced by Isaac Collins. Ruiz has been really busy in midfield, and Lundy, as you touched on a number of times, Damien Zane's made quite some runs in behind. Probably wasn't rewarded for them early.
Yeah, he was dangerous. Had a better game than probably it looks. His movement was really good.
Azzurri will make their last round of rotations momentarily, as well as McFarlane. Pirouettes with this one and leaves it behind, does he? No. He's been fouled, says the referee. The foul against his opposite number in Farrell Trainer. So it looks like it'll be next to Zach Major and the other one of the visa players in June Hahn to come on for Charlestown. Chance here maybe for Maitland to conjure something. Smale with the throw. Collins feeds it back to Thompson. Gets a return pass and gets a little nudge from Martinelli, but gets the ball back. No, apologies. Push through, opportunity there. Just bounces away. Butchard does well to track it down, and Frendo pushes it across the line.
Just a bit of fatigue there, Charlestown. There was an error that opened that up. Hence the substitutions waiting on halfway.
To hold on against this attacking raid from Maitland. Muddle to reach for that one. Feeds it now. Roos. Ritchie. McFarlane. He's the man you want on the ball. Feeds it. Almost managed to weave it through the pack, but of course who's there? But Jordan Jackson. He has really been one of the best for Azzurri today for mine.
Yeah, great position there by Sutherland.
The ball over the top for Trainer. Smale has to push right back and couldn't even get it across the sideline. Just had to dispose of it over the byline for a corner. The changes will come before the corner.
Like you said, Bud, Jackson there, that was great defending, covering Hayes, and both of them been very good today.
So Caleb Reed coming off for Major, and Hahn go on for Pappas. Charlestown. Jackson says to the much smaller Major that he'll push up here. They go to the short corner. Hall's got all the time in the world to drift this into the box. It's headed away for the time being. Hahn will get an early touch. Gets a return pass here. Leaves it behind, much to the dismay of the coach. Here's an opportunity for Maitland. It's going to be a bit of a foot race. Ritchie can't quite get to it. In the end, it's Zach Major closing the gap and just pushing it across the sideline. They'll have the throw, Maitland.
Yeah, you've got to be careful overplaying there off a corner. In an attacking corner, you've got no structure. Muddle's won a corner. He's been really busy when he's come on. I think he's made a big difference. Another dangerous one is Jaden Ritchie. As players are fatiguing, he's very sharp, tricky around the box.
See what McFarlane can get from this one. There's another dollar for me too on that corner take. Floated in, cleared away.
Hazel Jackson.
All one there by Richie. Just read where Sutherland was trying to feed it and took it away.
Yeah, another turnover, and they're just getting pinned back.
In the last 7 minutes now, and then added time. Can someone grab something here?
Oh, good tackle.
On there. Oh, Martinelli's going to try and chip Pate. Just off target. He weighted it well. Worth the shot, worth the opportunity, and you can see Pate tracking back quite nervously.
That would have been an unbelievable goal. He hit it really well.
One thing I'll give Martinelli is he's backed himself since he's come on when the opportunities have presented. But now they've got to be alert at the other end. That's a pretty average tackle, fairly cynical, and goes straight into the book.
Yeah, Richie made a good run there. Just I'm not sure who had the ball. Was it Ruth? He didn't see it. I think, but you know, Josh will look back at the game, and I think his subs have been good. Good timing for him as a coach, and they've all made an impact since they've come on.
I think both sides have been very active from the bench and inserting those players. There's that man Muddle, plays it now for Thompson. He'll take it around the outside. Frendo throws himself in there, crossed into the box. That'll be a handball in the box. It's just an awkward, unfriendly bounce in the end for Isaac Collins. He was getting ready to wind up on a second crack when it sat up and popped onto his hand.
I think too, the modern game, you know, your substitutes need to be impact players and make a difference. If they do, and you've got that depth in your squad, it makes a massive difference.
You've certainly seen that in recent years where some of the thinner squads have been, you know, almost in a position where they don't want to make changes even when they're in a need of fresh legs, etc., because of that drop-off in depth. So it's so key, and both these sides have certainly got that as it's crossed into the box here. A little heavy for Frendo. Not quite sure what that was that was yelled out from the bench. The animation of it overcame the words more than anything. That's floated into the back post. That looked dangerous. Martinelli got a little excited for a moment.
What I think it was is Scott Smith looking at the runs in the box, and he's probably spot on. Having been a striker himself, once it looks like being delivered, it's a sprint to get yourself in a scoring position. It's quite animated.
I think, and again, as you know, obviously he's very passionate not only about the role of striker but the club as well. So. All of that came out and maybe, as I said, overwhelmed some of the actual words, but I'm sure the strikers and the team got the intent of what was coming. And it is wonderful to see when, you know, there's obviously been a forced change for Charlestown here at the helm, and these two guys coming in who, as you said before, they're passionate and tied to the club. As it goes forward now, Butchart. McFarlane trying to feed it in for him, and again, who's there? Jordan Jackson.
Yeah, and you touch on the passion. It's what sets our game aside, I think, is that passion. People are passionate about clubs and the game in general. So, yeah, I think it's definitely sitting behind them here. They've made an impact with their energies as well in the second half.
We talked about at half time, didn't we? You know, what they'd be able to take from the second half, and I certainly think there's plenty of positives they'll be able to take from this. And you know, this is a really good, even if it remains at 2-2, it's a really good building block for Josh Ruffo and his crew to build on from here, and I think Azzurri will be a bit of a handful if they can execute like they have in this second half.
I agree. Look, we lost to them at Western, and I'm not sure what happened. Sometimes that can happen in the season. You fall in a little bit of a hole, and but I think they've got enough here to be challenging for the finals. I think they're plenty good enough.
That's what we certainly want to see from a neutral and a fan point of view. We want to see it coming down to those last few weeks with 7 or 8 teams at least all fighting tooth and nail like it was last year. It came down to the last couple of rounds. As Frendo feeds this in looking for Hahn, but Muddle's there. Snatches on it. And Muddle pushes it across the sideline. Major with the throw for Jackson. Back to Major. Little turn away. That's nice against Ritchie. Two young guns going toe-to-toe. Frendo tried to emulate it. Didn't quite work out the same.
There's Jackson, but winning the ball back. His work rate's been phenomenal today.
Wow, what about that? Taylor Pate soars up and takes that two hands at the crossbar. That was dangerously drifted in by Sutherland. Pate did well to snatch it. McFarlane here, he's looked the most likely for them. Draws the foul. I'm looking to slow it down. Ritchie, does he stay on side here? Flag stays down. He's timed his run perfectly. Feeds it into the box and pushed onto the target by Collins, but didn't have enough to challenge Esquilant. We talked about young keepers before. They have been beaten twice, but Esquilant's taken a number of really good opportunities, as has Pate at the other end.
He's a good young keeper, Sam.
Martinelli pushing up here. Pate's had to come out of the box.
I think they've both had pretty good games. Pate's come and taken some really good and dangerous crosses and being real aggressive doing it.
Martinelli physical there, wins out. Muddle, aggressive sliding tackle. 2 feet in and gets the ball, but pushes it across for a corner here. Is this Charlestown's opportunity?
And our talk at halftime, we didn't see a 3-2 turnaround coming.
The final minute of regulation time. Sutherland curls it in. Oh, that could have been only so fitting if Jordan Jackson had nodded that home. And here we see again, off the back of his head, is it Martinelli? It is. The flag stays down. As the fourth official tells us, 3 minutes of added time, Charlestown had their third goal. Martinelli, he's been dangerous since he's come on from the bench, and he gets it there from Sutherland's second cross. The two substitutes combine, and all of a sudden, he said it just before, we didn't see 3-2 in the script for Charlestown Azzurri, but they did, and that's exactly what they've got, and the coach comes forward to congratulate his men, but the job isn't done yet.
No, and now you look at Maitland and they look like Charlestown walking off at half-time, don't they? It's, I can't believe the turnaround, the second half. It's been a credit to the staff and the players from Charlestown picking themselves up off the floor.
Speaking of picking themselves up, like late goal for Bellswan sealed it against the Jaffers, so they continue their winning form. And the Jaffers come back to earth after a couple of wins already this week, with including that midweek game. Ball floated in behind here for Butchard. He pulls back up, and again, the man that's there, Jordan Jackson. He's been absolutely everywhere. He was the one that tried to head it on in the lead up to that last goal.
Yeah, he's been superb, hasn't he?
Opportunity here. Martinelli nips in behind again, but Corcoran snaps up the chance and deflects it away.
There's no doubt Martinelli's made a difference. Like, out of all the subs, he's been superb. Looked a threat all day.
Certainly has. I think we touched on it before, though. Every player that's come on for both sides has had an influence in a positive direction. You know, Muddle was just on the ball there. He's looked good. Obviously, Sutherland was the man that put the cross in before. Frendo's been busy in the midfield for them. For Charlestown, that is. And here's two of the subs as well, going toe-to-toe, Ritchie and Major. Butchard trying to work it through. Throws himself to ground in the hope that he might somehow conjure a penalty from the referee. And now Butchard is going to be relieved of his duties, and Joe Melmoth will come into the fray very late in the piece. Interesting time. Normally you'll see a team leading at this point, the one making the sub, just trying to manage the clock a little bit, but just hoping that maybe the last fresh legs injecting up front for them.
Yeah, they're just hoping for something now, aren't they?
So not a bad player to have at this point in the game to be able to call on, though, in Joe Melmoth. Plenty of experience.
Good player.
Charlestown happy just to push this out of play into the final 2 minutes or so of the referee's discretion, you'd have to think. Thompson, Smale, the opening scorer. Could he have the last say? Play it wide now. Collins down for Muddle, looking for the offside call is Frendo. He gets himself in the way. Here's Melmoth in the box now, and his opposite number in Hoole pushes it across the sideline. Some appeals from the Azzurri fans that stoppage time should be up, but I feel like the referee's not going to be persuaded there. Farrell Trainer just pushes it into the Maitland defender's legs and gets his side a throw, which there'll be an absolutely no rush to take here.
And special mention also, we're talking about Jacko and Kieran Hayes up the back, but Farrell Trainer, even when they were sort of getting dominated, he's been an outlet all day. He's been superb.
Certainly has. There's Jackson. Hayes sends it long, and Charlestown Azzurri break their drought. It looked troublesome at half-time, down by 2, but what a second half from the Azzurri under new coach Josh Ruffo. They take it 3-2, a crucial 3 points that puts them right back in the finals mix as we head towards the midpoint of the season, Damien Zane.
Yeah, that was superb. It was a good game, actually, to watch. Sort of swung, didn't it, in as far as momentum went. But yeah, that second half was completely dominant. And I'm just really surprised after watching Maitland play last week. Yeah, they just probably weren't as effective with the ball as what they were last week. And that's, again, credit to Josh and his team. He set them up well, and they've stuck to it and repaid him.
There must have been some magic in that halftime speech. Both sides will get a chance, one for Charlestown to extend this run now in Cup football. They'll take on Westwall's End on Wednesday night. Valentine will be the home for Maitland on Tuesday night, and then up against Edgeworth for Maitland next week, and Broadmeadow for Charlestown. Based on what we saw in that second half, Charlestown versus Broadmeadow will be must-watch viewing.
That'll be, a real good game up at Charlestown. You wouldn't want to be playing them at this stage, to be honest, after watching that second half. And I can only imagine how they're going to belt out the song at the in a few moments. And, the vibe's going to be different. They've got that cup game, and you would expect them to beat Westwall's End. And all of a sudden, like I said, football's a funny game. A couple of wins in a week, and all of a sudden you're in good form.
Well, we'll wait and see. They close the gap to the top 5 here with a 3-2 win, getting it done late, Charlestown Azzurri. But, of course, as always, make sure to stay tuned to Northern New South Wales Football's YouTube channel for all of your first and reserve grade men's and women's NPL action live and free all throughout